the ruling of Roe v. Wade in 1973, abortion rights have been legalized nationwide. However, in recent years, these rights have been tested. Currently, some states are trying to take away reproductive rights that women have had for years, surrounding the ideology that life starts before birth. Should the U.S. be taking away these rights, though? Before we go further into the presentation, here's some key terminology that you'll need to know. Pro-life, the belief that abortion should be either restricted or prohibited because of the belief that life starts before birth. Pro-choice, the belief that women should be given the choice to have an abortion. Reproductive rights, the legal rights a person has to make their own decisions about their reproductive health. Roe v. Wade, 1973, a Supreme Court decision that protected a woman's right to choose abortion. And finally, abortion, the termination of pregnancy. To begin with, what is the issue of taking away abortion rights? Well, first off, the health risk. Many doctors aren't reacting quick enough to pregnant women who need abortions, which is delaying care and increasing the risk of complications, leading to some unfortunate deaths that could have been prevented. Legal uncertainty for doctors. Doctors don't want to get in trouble, obviously, but they also want to help their patients. Sadly, because of some states being more strict on abortion rights, or abortion restrictions, they aren't able to help the patients, or they don't want to, leading to some patients to not get help at all. Reduced bodily autonomy. People begin to lose the ability to make their own choices during the pregnancy, and women will lose the ability to make decisions about their own body. Why would government action matter? Government action is important because without clear policies, access to abortion around America can vary state from state, which can lead to increased health risks, delays in treatment, and unequal care. The government can make more consistent, established rules that are less confusing. If the government were to take action for abortion rights, they could perhaps protect access to health care for people who need abortions instead of making them travel to another state so they can get the abortion that they need. Reduce health risks, as they could get timely medical care in complicated pregnancies. Promotes equal access to healthcare nationwide so that the states can't decide that you can't have abortion here, basically. So nationwide would be accepted. Gives legal clarity to doctors who are taking care of patients. Here are some important history about the abortion rights in America. In America's history, abortion was heavily criminalized and misunderstood, and has often been used as a way to control women. It took years for abortion laws to be changed and to move forward. However, in recent years, it feels like America is going backwards instead of forwards when it comes to reproductive rights. Let's begin in 1910. Abortion banned nationwide in America. During this point, it was illegal to get abortion in America, but this didn't really stop women from getting abortions. This just led the women to unfortunate paths that were not as safe and were very illegal. In 1955, a conference on abortion legalization was held because of how many women had been injured or killed because of illegal abortions. They were talking about how abortion laws should be reformed. 1973, Roe v. Wade was held. This was the Supreme Court case that changed how abortion was handled legally in all 50 states, protecting the right to have an abortion, which made abortion safer for everyone in America. But in 2022, Dobbs v. Jackson overturned Roe v. Wade, leaving it up to the states to decide whether or not they would make abortion legal or illegal in their state. Stakeholders. Who is most affected by this? Well, people who are living in states that have stricter abortion laws is probably going to be heavily affected by this. People facing medical issues during their pregnancies, especially if they live in those states, and healthcare workers who are a little bit hesitant to help the pregnant women who are having complications. And yeah. Legality. After Dobbs Dobbs versus Jackson states gained more authority over the regulation of abortion, and laws reflected the state's interests. So you might notice how states are more up north or more progressive don't really have any abortion restrictions or limited, but states that are less progressive, like Texas, have very strict abortion restrictions. Does this help or hinder America? Well, I believe that abortion rights being stricter in certain states definitely will hinder the nation. It probably will actually cause women to have less children because of the safety concern of possibly getting pregnant and then having a complication and not being able to get the help that you need. Efficiency. Abortion bans can reduce the number of legal abortions, but they will lead to the rise of in either illegal abortions or people traveling out of state to get abortions, which can delay help and lead to more medical issues. Bans at the state level are showing to be costing the US $133 million annually, which is a lot more than it was in 2024 when it was $64 million. And the website that I got this information from updated their thing in 2025. So that means that we don't even know how much it's costing in 2026. Economic benefit. People who are pro lifers may argue that it would lead to population growth, which would lead to a greater workforce participation if abortion was banned in nationwide, basically. Both sides. Pro choice supports people making their own medical decisions, protects reproductive health, helps protect the life of a pregnant person in a medical emergency, and advocates for women to not go to jail for having abortions. While pro-lifers believes human life begins at conception, argues that fetus have right to live as well, believes that the government has to take responsibility to protect the unborn children from being, in their words or in their minds, murdered. My opinion is very lengthy, but to summarize it, I'm pro-choice personally, as it would make more sense for the women to be able to make choices over their own bodies than for them to have no choice at all. I believe most parents are probably not going to decide randomly on a random Tuesday that they want to get abortion. It's probably very hard on them as well, but they sometimes you need to get an abortion for medical reasoning. And instead of worrying so much about unborn children, they should be worrying about the children who are already born in America, who are struggling to survive in the economic state that we're currently in. Abortion should have never been taken away. It's a medical procedure that is necessary to keep keep women alive, and it benefits them, really. If you just look at history, you would know this would be a bad idea. We've already done this before. We shouldn't be repeating history over and over again. Some recommended changes / alternatives. I recommend that we leave abortion rights alone. It should have never been changed after 1973. Focus on the education and livelihood of children have been born, as the children are our future. If they have a good life and good education and have a good economic state, then the child rates will probably raise up in the next few decades, like a decade or so. Don't give the state the right to make these kinds of laws that are so strict and confusing for the people who are living in those states. And stop criminalizing abortion. It's a medical procedure that keeps women alive. We should have never criminalized it in the first place. Here are my works that were cited, and that would be it. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good night, day, or afternoon.